The first sensation Ethan felt was weight, an unbearable pull on his chest, as though the air itself wanted to suffocate him. His eyes snapped open, finding a chandelier of cut crystal dangling above, scattering harsh sunlight into little fractured blades of light. He blinked rapidly, disoriented. What? Where? He pushed himself upright, sheets of luxurious silk slipping from his body. The softness at his back wasn't the sterile bedding of a hospital where he had expected to draw his last breath. This was extravagance, a four-poster bed of mahogany, golden wall trimmings, carpets so thick they nearly swallowed his bare feet. A faint scent of lavender oil clung in the air like memory. Ethan's confusion deepened until the flood of memories surged in. Not his, but the boy's body he now inhabited. Snippets of pain, being ignored at dinner tables, mocked at family gatherings, his accomplishments dismissed while another child basked in praise. That child, Noah. The adopted son who wasn't blood, yet was treasured as though he were the family's crown jewel. Noah the perfect, Noah the gentle, Noah who always seemed easy to love. And the boy whose body Ethan now wore, Ethan Carter, the so-called heir, had been trampled into despair. The man within clenched his fists. The god of stocks, who had once ruled Wall Street until betrayal ended his life, was now seated inside a body long discarded. His lips curled slowly, forming a grim smile. "So fate," he muttered to himself, "you've given me another hand to play, and this time I will not fold." He rose unsteadily, catching his reflection in the mirror. A young man, sharp-featured, messy dark hair, hazel eyes burning with restrained fury. This was the face of failure, at least to the Carter family. But now it was the vessel of rebirth. Ethan Carter leaned closer to the glass and whispered, "This time, it's my ending to write."
The Carter dining hall was a monument to vanity. A table carved from oak stretched endlessly. Chandeliers bathed everyone in a cold grace, and yet it carried no warmth. At the head of the table sat Richard Carter, stiff, gray-streaked, eyes sharp as steel. To his right, Catherine Carter sat poised, jewels gleaming, her elegance undermined by the frost in her gaze. Across from her sat Chloe Carter, Ethan's biological sister, who already looked irritated at Ethan's presence. But it was to Noah that the family's attention clung, sitting as if born to that seat. Neat in his designer blazer, Noah's face radiated politeness, smiling gently at Chloe's jokes. He soothed Richard when he criticized Ethan's lateness, nodding with humility when Catherine praised him. The perfect green tea act, sweet on the surface, manipulative underneath. When Ethan entered, Richard didn't even glance up from his paper, simply stating, "You're late." Noah leaned in softly, touching Richard's arm like a dutiful child, saying, "It's fine, Dad." He added, "Maybe Ethan was just tired," defending Ethan just enough to make him look worse. Catherine sighed, turning her gaze to her son with disappointment sharp enough to cut glass. "Ethan, why can't you be more like Noah? So considerate, so disciplined," she lamented. She continued, "Always respected, never troublesome," as Chloe chimed in, smirking. "Honestly, I don't know why we even bother comparing them anymore," Chloe added. The laughter stung the air, but Ethan sat down calmly, folding his napkin on the table. His eyes were cool and steady as he stated, "No." His voice rang crisp. "I won't be like Noah. I won't ever pretend to be," he declared firmly. "Because as of this moment, I'm done. I won't play your son anymore." The room froze, and Noah blinked in faux shock, saying, "Brother, don't say things like that." "Family is family," he insisted, but Ethan chuckled, humorless, sharp. "Spare me. You all think his mask is honesty, when it's just a snake in silk," Ethan retorted. "Blood may make family, but loyalty keeps it alive, and you've never shown me any." He pulled out a legal envelope and dropped it onto the table, the sound ringing like a gavel. "Already handled. The lawyers will finalize it tonight. By tomorrow, I will no longer be a Carter." Richard slammed his hand on the armrest, exclaiming, "You think you can survive without us? Without our name?" he demanded, but Ethan's gaze cut razor sharp. "I don't need your name. I'll rise higher without it, and drag your empire down with me." He stood, walking out while Chloe hissed insults. Catherine gasped, and Richard roared. Behind him, Noah's soft voice followed, tinged with hidden venom. "You'll regret this. The world isn't as forgiving as you think," he warned, but Ethan didn't look back. "And you'll regret underestimating me," he shot back as the door shut. And with it, the boy they had controlled vanished, replaced by the man who would one day end them.
The Carter estate was darkness behind him. Ahead waited the small suburban house where the Thompsons lived. Its paint peeled at the edges, windows slightly cracked, but its light was warm, far warmer than any Carter mansion had ever felt. When Ethan rang the bell, Sarah Thompson opened. She gasped and pulled him into her arms instantly. "Ethan, my boy." Tears streamed freely, as if she'd been waiting years. Behind her came David Thompson, tall and weathered. Pride filled his tired features. He gave Ethan a strong pat on the back. "Son, welcome home." At dinner that night, Sarah fussed over every plate, worried he looked thin. David raised his glass in a quiet toast. "To having our son back where he belongs." Ethan smiled, eating among the only people who had ever shown him unconditional care. His words were warm. "I'm home, Mom, Dad." But behind his smile, his thoughts sharpened. "This family gave me love when I had nothing. I'll repay it 1,000-fold. And the Carters? They will choke on the taste of regret." It began small. David hesitated, but gave Ethan access to $50,000 in savings. "Don't gamble with this," David warned. Ethan smiled faintly. "I don't gamble. I win." That night, his laptop screen glowed like an altar in the dark. He moved with unmatched certainty. He invested in biotech firms mere months away from FDA approvals, shorted financial giants concealing bad debt, bought into cloud computing startups destined to explode. By the time 3 months passed, $50,000 had grown to nearly $1 million. Within 6, $15 million. Sarah, fretting, pleaded with him. "Ethan, this pace, it's too much, isn't it?" Ethan squeezed her hand gently. "Trust me, I've seen the board long before the pieces move." Behind his composure, fire burned. "With this, I'll build not just wealth, but a throne. Phoenix Capital will rise, and Carter Enterprises will burn." And so, the Phoenix was born. Within 3 years, Phoenix Capital became a titan. Glass towers bore its crimson phoenix emblem. Investors jostled for entry. Hedge funds whispered of Ethan's uncanny precision. Predictions so perfect, it seemed supernatural. Rivals collapsed under his maneuvers. Others bowed, eager to attach themselves to his rising star. But his true aim sharpened on an old target: Carter Enterprises. One by one, their divisions faltered as Ethan shorted them. Their oil empire bankrupted under government reform, while Phoenix Capital stood as the leader in renewable energy. At night, as he gazed out of his Manhattan office, Ethan toasted silently to himself. "They crowned Noah as their phoenix, but mine is the phoenix that burns them to dust."
Chapter 6. Cracks in the Mask. The Carter mansion was silent, washed in gloom. Chandeliers dimmed, halls deserted. Noah sat in the study, piled high with failing reports, his hands trembling. The door opened. Ethan entered, crisp and black, his gaze unyielding. Noah froze, then forced a smile. "Ethan, brother, I've always admired you." Ethan chuckled darkly. "Always admired me? No. You stripped me bare with every smile of yours. Your pity made me a fool in their eyes." Noah's false warmth cracked. "I never asked them to love me more. Maybe you simply weren't worthy of it." Ethan leaned close, voice sharp enough to scar. "Noah, all your life has been a mask. Look at you now, worthless without it. Everything you had was borrowed from their blindness, and I took it back." Noah's mask shattered. His voice cracked into venom. "You stole this. It should have been mine." Ethan turned away calmly. "Power you never earned never lasts. Enjoy your ashes, brother." The door closed behind him, leaving Noah sobbing in broken rage. The mask, once flawless, lay shattered forever. Chapter 7. A Mother's Collapse. Catherine Carter sat clutching financial statements and shaking hands, her jewelry too heavy for her frail arms. The empire she had propped on favoritism lay in ruins. When Ethan entered, she burst into sobs. "Ethan, my son, I was blind. I chose Noah because he was easy to love, and I lost you." Ethan's gaze was ice. "You didn't lose me. You threw me away. And now, the son you rejected has become the world's king, while the one you chose is your downfall." She collapsed onto the floor, helpless sobs breaking her pride. Her legacy lay dead before her. Epilogue. The Emperor of Finance. At Rockefeller Hall, New York, the world's elite roared as Ethan stood beneath the glowing Phoenix insignia. "Success is not inherited," he told the summit, voice carrying unchallenged. "It is forged. Family is not blood, it is loyalty. Betrayal built me, but loyalty raised me." The hall shook with applause. Cameras crowned him not just a mogul, but the living emperor of finance. Meanwhile, in Boston, the Carters watched from obscurity. Richard broken, Chloe ashamed, Noah hollow, Catherine drowning in regret, their name forgotten except as a cautionary tale. In Manhattan, the Thompsons dined in warmth. Sarah beamed, touching Ethan's hand. The world may know you as emperor, but to us, you're our son. Ethan smiled softly. And that is the only title that matters. But as his eyes lingered on the glittering skyline, his thoughts burned inside. The boy they abandoned became the man the world bows to. The phoenix has risen and will never fall.